What's up, everyone? So yes, this is the week of updates. As you can see, this tank is back to its former glory. So we're just going to go through and talk about a few things that we did yesterday and some of it to today, and we're just going to give you a little bit of update, and you'll see that things are slowly getting done that we've promised. All right. Big man here, he's got all kinds of plants in his hands. What's this? Some Nubius, and what's that? Some Val? All different kinds of plants. Where were you taking that?
Pruning them out of the discus tank because it's getting too much in there, and it's overtaking the tank. So we're going to take them and put them in other tanks, and like the goldfish tank, and let it grow.
Awesome. All right, so walking over here, first up, you see not Pittsburgh, I'm sorry, Lavaca's tank is looking a little bit different. We put this divider in here, and we put the Fajaca over on the right side and Lavaca on the left side. So we went ahead and removed this Fajaca from the 700 gallon after it took care of the snail problem in that tank. So now they're going to be in this tank. So my idea here, which I've talked about on the live stream, was to see how these two interact with each other and see if they can get along, or if you've got one trying to attack the other. I'm going to monitor them for like a couple weeks, and if all things go well, then I might try taking the divider out and seeing what can happen. So for one, the Fajaca could try and nip at the MBU, or Lavaca can go over here and bite the Fajaca. So definitely don't want that to happen either way, because we love both of our puffers here. Lavaca's been with us for a long time, and this Fajaca is a neat little guy. Just look at her. But we are going to watch this Fajaca until Eric gets set back up down in his new home, and he said he would love to have his puffer back. So this one will eventually be going back home. But while we're dealing with that, down here, you guys know we got in the Amara wolffish, and I do apologize about the audio on the last video because I did not have the right output settings tuned up. So now this video should be a lot better. But the Amara got all of his color in. He's looking great. I gave him a little bit of hide so he can hide behind this log, and we'll still be able to see him. All right, so my dad wants to explain why he's thinning out the plants on this 180-gallon discus tank, and I'll go ahead and let him explain that.
Okay, so up here, there was so many plants floating through here that it was blocking the light. See all the swords and cribs and stuff we have in here? They're all reaching for the sky. Okay, they're really thinned down. There were so many plants up here that they weren't getting no light. Plus, you couldn't see any of the discus. They were hiding so much in the plants. So we just pulled out a bunch of plants that were here. I reached down to the bottom, popped them out of the sand, and replanted them. Like over here, I didn't take this out yet. This is what that whole side looked like. It was covered in this stuff all over the place. And it chokes out your plants on the bottom. Plus, look at all the dirt and debris we can't get to and clean.
Yeah, so every couple months we got to go through and, lessen the load of plants on here.
Deforested.
Right. We always try and put it at elsewheres. As you can see, we've got a lot of Anubias and swords over in this tank here. So
you can see the growth on that one where the old leaves are dying. That's the ones that were doing good when I moved it. They died off, and now all new growth is coming out.
Yep. So you can see we've got two different looks. We've got some of the same plants mixed in, but two different looks of the tank. This Val over here and all these different, taller plants that grow up, they kind of just, take over, and you can't see through all the plants. Like you can see this big Anubias here and Anubias on the right side. You can't even barely tell that plant's there because of all this Val and, grasses that are just growing up everywhere. So now as we walk back by this tank, I did move one fish out of here, and that would be the granulosus. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what we did with that one. Give you some extra footage as we walk by. But out here, we were so tired of this 580 looking so barren and nasty, so we decided to do something about it. For one, we added some fish, but what did we add, you might ask? Well, we're going to get to that in just a minute. You can see we've got these floating planters that people always send us from the Amazon wish list. I went ahead and took some more of the, what are these called? Peace lilies. Went ahead and added some more on here because this one is doing absolutely phenomenal.
Wait, did Josh actually ask me for a name reference? I'm the one forgetting all the names.
Yes, I did. But we got more peace lilies in the floating planters. I'll slowly get more as we divide them up. But you guys remember we had the native fish in here. Well, we decided to do something about that too. Dad wants the koi back in there. So over here in the 580, you guys remember we have the Indian shovel nose, the Sparata aor. And then we decided to add in the bowfins. Now you guys can actually see them, and they're lit up and close and personal. That bowfin looks absolutely sweet. And then down here we've got the other bowfin. So I'm testing the waters, making sure everyone will get along in here. So far, so good. We had a little bit of an attitude problem between the Sparata and this bowfin right here. But back there behind that log, you can see there's the granulosis. So we started making moves for when we have to take the fish out of that 550, we can do so, and in a smooth fashion. I went ahead and flipped one of these floating logs upside down to try and give it a little bit of character in here. We put in some floating hornwort, and that's going to grow all over the top of the tank. And then we went ahead and pulled out another stingray from the monster pond. She was getting picked on in here, so we've been having to pull out quite a bit. The 3000 is jam-packed and full, and now we're starting to put some in this 580. But I know Rod and Kevin are working day and night trying to get the new facility set up. But, you know, soon, guys, soon. Like I keep telling you, these stingrays will all be gone relatively soon. Sorry. What you guys didn't see was Dad's cleaning the salt water back here, and I just, you know, booty bumped him as we walked by, trying to film for you, not looking where I'm going. But so over here we've got these elephant ears. We've got the black Toro elephant ear, and then this regular elephant ear. Those will go back outside. Now I was talking about other peace lilies we can divide up. This small one here is getting a little bit too big for the big pot, so I can divide this one in half and put more into a floating planter here. Then we've got two smaller floating planters there, and be able to get more of the peace lilies growing on top of the water, not being harmed and taking nitrates out of the water.
What I'd like to do is once we get 5 or maybe 6 of those floating plants, I'd like to tie them all together and then hook them together by that plastic chain to that lead weight in the bottom, so that it forms an island in the middle and don't get moved.
Yeah, that'd be neat. All right, as progress is being made, you guys know we moved Lavaca, Fahaka. I'm getting these names mixed up over here. But we moved the Fahaka puffer out of the 700. You can see most of the snails are non-existent. And now you can see after she finished off the snails, she started to nip at the fins. So we went ahead and removed her yesterday. Sorry I didn't get to do it sooner, but we thought she was going to eat more of the snails, but she did not. So while I brought you over here, I meant to show you guys something else. Went ahead and got the list together so we can get the plumbing done on this 750 gallon. So the plan with this, we're going to go ahead and take the 1.5-inch drain down to the floor, run it underneath the 500, under the 700. To do so, these 135s have to come out, and then under the 1000. The only way I can make this happen and not be super and in the way and intrusive, I'm going to run another pipe down the side of these white PVC pipes here. Now what my dad wanted to do, so let me position this perfect for you guys. You guys can see a waterfall on the left. You can see the main waterfall there. He wants to make another waterfall somewhere over on that side of the waterfall.
Between the diving board and the rocks right there. So it's like one from this one. It looks like it's coming out from under that tank.
That's what I was just pointing to. I said somewhere on the right side over here. You're thinking I'm pointing to the right, but I'm looking at in the camera. Right next to that rock, right underneath them koi, and in between the diving boards, where I was pointing to.
You are correct.
That's where he wants the third waterfall.
For me, it looks like you're pointing way over there.
Yeah.
Like, no.
So he wants to have 3 consecutive waterfalls there. It'll fall back into the same river system here and be able to go through the plants and back into the monster pond. So once the overflow is hooked up, we can then run up on the same distance over here, a new pump up to this 750, and this will be on our system. We've been fine-tuning this sandfall, and we've got it to where it'll run for about an hour or 2 at a time. And we'll be able to make it run for, like I said, an hour or 2, and then it'll, block up. So we're still fine-tuning the amounts of sand that we want in that tank. But the plans with this 750, one of 2 things are going to happen. Either it's going to be another monster fish tank, or if we happen to turn it cold water, it could be the tank for the sturgeon and maybe some new addition cold water fish that we're not going to discuss now because, you guys have to watch the videos to see everything that happens. But that could be a tank for them. But we never really worry about that. We worry about setting the tank up first, making sure it's, plumbed in, ready to go, and then we worry about putting fish in it. And while we're over on this side, you guys can see this 265 here. We have to go and pick up the new stand and the leaker tank so we can get this set up. And while we have the tank off the stand, my dad's going to put both of the sumps underneath the tanks. And I think he's set on making this 265 and the 180 will be the salt tanks right over here. So you'll have the salt there, and then that tank will be gone. And then that's the first move to start getting the Dwight Howard tank over in that spot. Like we promised, everything that we say we're going to do is slowly happening. It doesn't always happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. There's strategic moves that have to happen for these things to come to fruition. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We're going to get back to work here. So I think someone has something to say over here. Stay fishy, my friends.